Well, thanks for inviting me to speak today. I was going to give you a bit of an intro about our company and how we got started, and also running through some of the projects we've done and the future projects we're working on. Yeah, indeed, as Jim mentioned, I'm one of the founding members of Metabolic, and Spectral Utilities is actually one of the first commercial spin-offs of Metabolic, focused on clean tech development and, developing scalable solutions for the market. So we actually incorporated the company about a year ago, starting with two products, so focusing on the off-grid and temporary power market, one of which was a large 6-meter portable power unit based on renewable energy and energy storage, namely PV. It has hydraulic cylinders for operating the flaps, and it's basically a pop-up microgrid solution which we were renting to local festivals and events to see how these solutions can actually be applied in the field. We also developed portable energy storage solutions to, instead of using diesel generators, be able to store renewable energy and then use it where it's needed at temporary applications. Since then, we also developed a new range of different energy storage solutions for various applications, like our home battery, ranging from small systems like this one all the way up to containerized solutions for utility scale applications. From there, we actually also moved into more integrated microgrid design and implementation. So one of the projects we wrapped up last year was Blijburg, which is a beach in Amsterdam East, which consists of a couple of restaurants and a club. There, for Blijburg, we actually started off the project by doing an analysis of their entire building package. So looking at the potential for PV, but also determining, based on the characteristics of their building, how much energy they would need for heating and cooling. Then we also took a look at specifically all of the energy and electricity demand within the building. So we took every single appliance that Blijburg was supposed to have and created a small simulation tool to see what kind of power demand they would have. Mainly looking at the peak power, so seeing how much they would instantaneously need at any given moment. And based on this analysis, actually, we found out that Blijburg was actually just on the border of needing a grote verbruikers, or large user connection from the grid. So actually, in combination with one of our battery modules, Blijburg was able to instead get a small user's connection of just 3 times 80 amps, and then using our battery actually have the same functionality as a big user's connection, but then paying a lot less over time. Actually, after the cost of the battery, Blijburg saves about 50,000 euros over the next 12 years. So there's already a business case for energy storage here in the Netherlands, and we're soon reaching the tipping point, let's say. The other thing we actually discovered while doing the analysis was, being a restaurant, they needed very large 2,000-liter beer coolers, walk-in fridge, freezer, and of course, space heating and cooling. So looking at all of their energy needs, we basically recommended for them an integrated VRV heat pump system with heat recovery. So with this kind of a system, actually, their space heating, space cooling, heat recovery ventilation, hot water, freezing, and refrigeration are all combined into one system. So the waste heat from the beer coolers is used to heat their space upstairs directly, creating for a highly efficient system with COPs of 5 or 6. So yeah, this is a picture of the installation, and actually, the battery module at Blijburg not only, it's sort of the brain of the energy system there. So it not only stores the renewable energy from their PV panels, ensuring that all of it is consumed in-house, but it also schedules and controls all of the larger loads, like the VRV heat pump system, making sure that the peak power demand stays within the limits of what the inverters can supply, and also ensuring that, they maximize their solar self-consumption. So with this project, we started moving more in the direction of, integrated microgrid and smart grid systems. And it was our first opportunity to actually demonstrate our knowledge and our approach through an actual applied project. So one of the things that, is a main topic of today and what we've been hearing throughout the other speeches is that, our energy system is in a massive transition right now, namely through, several driving factors, one of which being that, we're using electricity more and more for applications which we previously used gas for or other types of fuels. So for heating our buildings, for driving our cars. Additionally, we're focusing more and more on applying renewable sources of energy, which, as we've seen, have highly variable supply, meaning that, previously we were able to count on very consistent supply-based systems, whereas now it's becoming a much more demand-driven economy. And furthermore, energy is being introduced at more and more locations throughout the grid, making it more difficult to manage and actually balance power, ensuring the same level of reliability that we've grown used to. Additionally, what we're seeing is, our buildings are also changing in nature. So especially in the residential sector, we see home energy management systems that collect a lot of data, which we can use for various purposes. People are more and more having different forms of energy storage, either a home battery or a water buffer for storing heat in their house, and soon potentially heat batteries, but also electric vehicles, which can also store energy. So the question is, how do you intelligently decide between which action to take? Is it more economical or better to discharge your battery, or to shift the use of a shiftable load like your heat pump? These are some of the challenges that we're actually looking to address in our next project, which we're starting construction in Q4 of this year. This render here is of Schoonschip, a community which is going to be constructed in Amsterdam North in Bouwkselterham, for which Spectral Utilities is leading the development of the smart grid systems. Together with a consortium of partners, including Fraunhofer Institute and CWI, two leading European research institutes, we're going to be implementing a smart grid platform that Fraunhofer started developing a few years ago. It consists of a few different parts, one of which is My Smart Grid. Actually, this was an open source project begun by Fraunhofer, and it's more about, intelligent home automation and energy management for residential users. So, using these hexabus switches, you can, using the smartphone app or web interface, turn on and off your devices manually, or even have them operate automatically. So one of the smart things, or one of the interesting things about My Smart Grid is that it also comes integrated with PVcast, which is a short-term forecasting algorithm for PV plants. Basically, it takes your historical data, your weather forecast and satellite data, and then using a machine-based learning algorithm, it learns your plant characteristics. So basically, your rooftop PV plant, but it's also used for multi-megawatt installations for predicting PV power. Using this information, and we see here some of the forecasts, it's able to actually determine how much your PV plant is going to produce in the next 7 days, and using that information, you can automate the operation of your appliances to ensure that all of your PV power is used in-house. Here's another picture of, the forecast versus the actual power production, and we see that it's quite accurate, providing the weather forecasts are good. And the core of the system, actually, and what we're going to be developing further at Schoonschip is My Power Grid. So this part is about actually controlling also smart appliances like smart grid-ready heat pumps, dishwashers, and other smart appliances that are emerging on the market, but also namely energy storage devices. So what the platform does is it allows you for your own household to optimize your energy use and use your home battery to maximize your solar self-consumption, or to save you money by peak shaving, or in some markets actually trading energy with the market. But it also allows you to optimize a whole swarm of batteries. So actually it can aggregate many distributed energy systems, and not just batteries, but also your demand flexibility and smart appliances, and optimize for a community like Schoonschip. So actually at Schoonschip, all of the households will have their own PV and residential battery system, as well as smart appliances. And my power grid will manage all of these devices to ensure that Schoonschip as a whole will be as grid independent as possible. Now, the platform is technology agnostic as well. So, of course, at Schoonschip, each house will have one of Spectral's home batteries, but you don't need our hardware to use the platform. So, if you have a Tesla Powerwall or another type of home battery, our system is able to interface with the power converters and actually, take control of them to save you money and also increase renewable energy use. Aside from that, the system is also, of course, capable of integrating large-scale assets. So currently, we're actually in conversation with the AEB, which potentially we might be working on a project to integrate their waste-to-energy plants with a local smart grid in the Amsterdam harbor, in order to allow for the big container ships that are unloading there to actually plug into shore power while they're unloading, instead of burning the dirty fuel and polluting the shore. So in general, the challenges we see are not only on the technical side. So actually, some of the technical challenges we face are already more or less solved. We can control the devices, we have the algorithms for optimizing and deciding when what should happen, but actually some of the main challenges we still face moving forward are more on the social and economic side. So and this is what a lot of stakeholders in the market are putting their heads together to try and figure out, is basically who pays who for what, when. How do you quantify the value of me shifting my use of my heat pump by 15 minutes, and how do you track that, and how do you actually reward people for participating in the smart grid network? And that's what we're, with Spectral, working on together with the key stakeholders in the market to actually solve these challenges. And it's going to take a massive, widespread effort from all of us to do it in time. That's all I have. Thank you.